This is a return to the Shadow-A-Thon after a short break with the Shadow Annual #1, and this is by Shadows and Light Prologue, and Shadows and Light is I think it's a 5-part story in the Shadow, and this is Fragments of the Sun by Andrew Helfer and Joe Orlando. So our story starts at the end of World War II, 1945, somewhere in Bikini Atoll, or somewhere where the US are testing out the very early atomic bombs. And kind of reminds me a little bit of Radioactive Man from the Simpsons comic. There's this poor sailor, and he's irradiated, and his widow, although not quite his widow because he's not actually dead, is back in the States. This person is irradiated, but he survives, and he may or may not have atomic powers. And then we go back to the States with one of the Shadow's agents. And then we have a villain of the piece, a Nazi scientist. And we also have this very much a sort of a L. Ron Hubbard type of character, sort of a cult church leader type of person. And their sort of plot, wherever it may be. And then we have the widow who's in this cult sort of church thing, and she finds out that her husband is not dead but is suffering from the atomic blast, and they sort of like puts me in mind of Toxic Avenger there. They've got to mate to create a atomic sort of super child thing, which will be revealed later. And later we were at what I'm assuming is like Madison Square Garden, and we've got a special appearance by Joe Lewis. This comic probably came out in 1980, so I don't know if he's still alive, or I'm assuming they got permission. Or permission to use his likeness, but it's a sort of a world championship title boxing match, but it's interfered with by Nazis or Nazi sympathizers. And so we have the first appearance of the Shadow as he thwarts whatever sort of Nazi plan they were hatching. As always, he's making quite an entrance. And so the evil Nazi scientist is thwarted, but he's still alive, still around, and plotting with other plots. And the cult leader doesn't fare too well as we flash forward to 1949. And this brings in one of the, two of the Shadow's agents as they investigate what's happening. And this L. Ron Hubbard type, he's sort of working on it, sort of EC comics sort of publication, and it's got a sort of it leads to a story within a story, or a comic within a comic, and it's very much the sort of style of the old EC comics, Tales from the Crypt, Weird Science, so on and so forth. It's got that style to it too. And this story within the story is a sort of veiled telling of what happened to the cult leader and his betrayal, which I think is quite clever. I'm sure there's probably a word for a story within a story, or a fictional story within a fictional story. There's got to be a word for that, but I don't know it. And so the two shadow agents are kidnapped by this all-powerful cult. And it's revealed that it's the evil Nazi, and he reveals his plan to use television to sort of hypnotize the masses, which again I thought was sort of quite a clever sort of story. This being set in 1949, so television sort of new and emerging in America. And we also have the widow of, and her child is now I think 3 years old now, and he's this sort of prodigy who's not quite revealed on this page. And so one of the other shadow agents is this sort of labourer, and he's working at the place where the broadcast is going to be, uncovering the suspicious circumstances. And we've got a director's, I think, a parody of Eric von Stroheim, silent movie director. I thought it was quite funny. And so they have the broadcast, and the atomic child is revealed, and there's also the hypnosis, which is sort of brainwashing America into this sort of savior type, who's going to bring about the sort of downfall of America and then the rise of the Third Reich again. But the plan is, the broadcast, I should say, is thwarted by the Shadow in very spectacular fashion. And so he shoots down the Nazi scientist. But he does spare the child, and this is sort of the genesis for the rest of the story of Shadows and Light. Yeah, so that the story will continue years there. A quote there at the bottom. So that was the Shadow Annual, #1, Shadows and Light prologue. And a very good story. I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And the story will continue in the Shadow #1, Shadows and Light Part 1. I like that cover. It's really sort of classy. You got good lighting to it. Thanks for watching. Bye.